Our country is in probably one of the biggest pandemics it's ever been in. And I mean, it's huge. And no, I'm not talking about COVID. Not at all. It's actually way bigger than COVID. Have you noticed lately in your local town or in the closest city near you that there's a lot more people sleeping on the streets? A lot more children going hungry at night? We are struggling as a country. When we're being told that Bidenomics by Joe Biden is working and more people are at work, when truly that's not the case. It's not. More people are fighting and debating whether they pay for their groceries or pay for the roof over their head. There is a lot more homeless people out there in the streets today. There's a lot more people starving today. And you know what the messed up part is? A lot of these people that are starving or even homeless, they have jobs. They do. But our country just decides to ignore them. And instead, we send trillions of dollars over to a war that's not even our business. We send it over to Ukraine. And yet we allow our Americans to suffer. Our own people here on American soil to suffer. How does that factor in? How does that make sense? If you can make that make sense to me, I would love to hear it. And please don't give me the same answer that everybody does. It's working, and it's better than big, bad, orange guy. You know, Donald Trump. Yeah, because I'm going to tell you from my own personal experience, underneath the Trump administration, yeah, the guy was a dork. He said a bunch of shit that didn't make sense, but underneath his administration, I was living my best life. My family was able to do things. We were able to go out and enjoy life. Life was good, man. Life was good. And here we are sitting and coming up to our 4th year with Joe Biden. Things are horrible, man. We pay rent. We pay for food. We don't do anything. Not at all because, well, Bidenomics clearly isn't working. People are working to survive. They're working to eat. And they're working to keep a roof on their heads. And there's a lot that don't have roofs on their heads. There's so much wrong with this country right now. But everybody's always focused on what they see in the news, which is COVID and Ukraine. When in all reality, there's more stuff happening around you in your local city. You just gotta get out there and look, man. Look. There's a bigger issue. Get outside and take a peek. And start ravaging your city officials and start telling them they need to do something. We can't just trust our federal government. We can't sit there and rely on our federal government. Don't get me wrong. It also comes down to your local government. They need to do something. I want to show you something. There's a picture right there. This is at a family park in a small town in Maine. It's turned into a decent-sized city. Drugs are ravishing this city. Drugs are taking lives in this city. It's a big issue. There's also a lot of people homeless in this city, more than there ever has been. They're camping out in a park that used to be a family park, but people don't want to take their kids there no more. They don't. Why, do you ask? It's not just because there's tents and homeless people there. No. It's because of the drug epidemic that's also going on. These family members, you don't want a child to find needles on the ground. You don't. You don't want your child to accidentally step on that needle and contract a virus or a disease that they should have never gotten. That's wrong. And here's the sad part. When people start speaking out about this, when they start speaking out saying that they can't take their child to this park because there's needles there, they don't want to take their child to the park because they're seeing the homeless doing drugs out in the open. These people get attacked. They literally get attacked by the vicious far left. They do. We've lost control We've lost absolute control of everything that we can say. There's a fear in the people on speaking their mind. There's a fear. Why? Because you're afraid that if you speak your mind and try to say something to help, that you're going to get attacked, that they're going to come after you. And I saw this recently in a post on Facebook. This guy literally posted mentioning how he was homeless. He once was homeless, and he's noticing that a park that he loves to take his children to is being overtaken by tents, homeless people doing drugs, and needles being found throughout the ground, and he got attacked. People were yelling at him, telling him, this, if you don't like it, start picking it up. Is it his job? Is it his duty to pick up these needles so his kids can play in the park? I don't think so. It boils down to your local government again, the city officials. The city officials need to step up. And when they bitch about financing and they bitch about they don't have enough money, well, then they need to take that up to their local state government. And if the state government says we don't have the funds, then we need to look higher up to the federal government. Where, let me say, where's that money from the federal government going to? And it goes back once again to Ukraine. I'm sorry, but I'm not a big fan of sending billions and billions of our tax dollars to the people over Ukraine to help them fight a war while Americans here are suffering. Millions of Americans suffering. We're just talking about the drugs and the homelessness. Let's not talk about the most recent event that happened in Maui. Thousands upon thousands of children are missing, possibly burned alive. Thousands and thousands of people have lost their homes. Everything in their life that meant something to them is burnt down to a crisp. And all our government can do is offer them a measly $700. Say, here's $700. Rebuild. What the fuck? No, man. That's freaking wrong. How are you going to send people who've lost everything? They lost their whole life and say, here's $700. And by the way, I'm signing a new $1.5 trillion thing to send out to the people in Ukraine. Make that make sense to me. Make that make sense to me. It doesn't. It doesn't make sense at all. When is Americans going to wake up and realize we need to help our own? And instead of attacking somebody who made a comment in regards to a family park, how it's being ravaged by the homeless people, and how the drugs are being done out in the open for children to see. Don't get me wrong. Drugs being down in the open for children to see should not happen. And it shouldn't even happen in the home. Families shouldn't be doing drugs in the home for their children to see, and they shouldn't be doing it out in the park for the children to see. You want to do that shit? Do that shit behind closed doors without children in there. Children should not be subjected to seeing drugs being used. They shouldn't. It's wrong. It's that their minds are pure, man. Keep their minds pure. Don't let them see the evil and the bad of this world. Let them see the good. I don't know, man. I'm getting very aggravated about this stuff. I'm getting aggravated that we can't speak our mind. And you know what? This video is going to be posted on all my social media profiles. And I don't care at this point. I'm tired of being silenced. I'm tired of being afraid. So do what you want with this. And to the fine folks in Biddeford, Maine, to the city government, Mayor Cassavant, who decided to use tax dollars to build a garage that the people voted against and not help out his local citizens, you, sir, can take a flying fuck. Yeah, I said it. Start focusing on your citizens. There's a problem. You have an abandoned courthouse. A courthouse that has been closed down because you built a bigger one, which I'm fine with. Do good with that current closed down courthouse. Do something with it. Take care of the homeless people. That's it. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Take care.